Hello, my loves. Okay, this is your November soul message, and it's called Boxed In. And I hate to be the bearer of this news, but this is where we are. I am doing this message completely on the fly today. My daughter is in an acute, critical medical situation, and so I have no notes written. I'm just going to do this on the fly, all channeled with what's coming through. And it feels, although crazy, because the timing is, I have to be rushed with this, but because we got into a specialist this morning, praise Jesus, that didn't have an opening for a month. So that's all part of the energy, which is why I bring it in here. But so I have no notes, and I'm just going to channel it, and I'm just going to go with it here. And the reason that I'm choosing to do it and cram it in here in the little bit of time that I do have is because it's so important to get this message and just to be rooted and anchored with it. And the energy that I'm feeling today, I tuned in a couple days ago before the thing with my daughter went really extreme. And so what I saw is perfectly aligned with what's happening with that. And, I typically don't bring my personal stuff into my messages, but it's so deeply aligned that I will talk about that, in and out. So the energy that I saw for November was boxed in, and what I saw was a box within a box, within a box, within a box, within a box. And so there's two sides to this energy. It's very constricted. It's very contracted energy. It's buttoned down. It's very limited in what you're able to do and the movement and all of that. And also, like the pearl and the diamond get created under pressure, there's also some sort of jewel, some sort of wisdom, some sort of message, an aha moment, a something that's going to come out of this month. Astrologically, I don't know if I'm going to remember them off the top of my head, but there are 5 planets in retrograde right now. The biggest one, the most important one from now until January is Mars being in retrograde. Mars is the masculine, it's the forward movement, it's action, it's fire, it's all of the stuff that gets shit done, right? With that being in retrograde, it's like, ooh, it kind of gives me the image of Austin Powers in that little car when he's turning like 12-point turn, like that's what we're in right now. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. And it's kind of like for all of our own divine waking up. There's a pressure where we're going to see, we've already been seeing some of this, but now it feels like it's stepping into more acute territory. We're going to start seeing the limitations and the edges of the systems that we have put in place to support us. I'm talking medical, government, banking, church, all of the major systems that we have put in place to sort of handle everything, right? And there's a way in which we have been complicit in giving that much power to these systems. And we're starting to see now that like, oh, wow, we kind of gave them carte blanche and we didn't really pay attention. It's like, here, take all of my tax dollars and it'll work out somehow. You'll take care of all the stuff. But they haven't been taking care of all the stuff for a long time. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see the limitations on the edges of all these different systems and where and how they've been leading us astray, going wrong, not returning the same energy that we have given them. So it's a little bit like an empath narcissist relationship that's getting revealed to us. And we're seeing, oh, wow, that doesn't really work. Well, when we get all of that information revealed, what is really truer down at the bottom of all of that is that all of us as a system band together are way more powerful than any of those systems. They have wanted us to believe that we are not. that we are reliant upon those systems. And if we don't stay on the hamster wheel of society, run, keep going, keep, basically feeding and powering, the matrix, so to speak, like feeding and powering all of those systems, they need us to do that to stay in power. So the moment that we stop feeding it and we take back our power and say, no, I'm going to run that through my own critical thinking system, and that doesn't resonate with me, that doesn't read, I'm going to do something else. So it's all this kind of territory. I couldn't find an image for exactly like what I was saying, the box within the box within the box. But what I kept seeing, and I haven't landed on an image yet, but what I kept seeing was like all these desserts, like cupcakes and stuff in boxes. And I was like, oh, that's so cool, because there's a part of it that's like, there's a sweetness in the restriction. So specifically, like in my situation with my daughter going through this acute thing, when anyone has something radical like that that's happening, it turns you on a dime in a moment's notice, where you are aware when anyone's going through a massive critical transitional point. I don't care if it's divorce or a health issue or, whatever, job change, anything that's like this massive thing that causes all of your kind of cells to come online. Number one, it brings everything down into the physical, right? Into the physical present. Like that's so Mars. And there's also, I don't know what Saturn is doing right now, but it's very Saturnian energy. It's, Saturn is like the teacher, the taskmaster, the one that's not going to let you get out of your lessons this lifetime. So, where was I with that? The thing about all of that energy is when you're in one of those acute states like that, instantly what matters to you and what doesn't matter. And what's beautiful about that level of clarity is it sweeps out any bullshit, anything that was, occupying your time or your space or your money or whatever that doesn't matter. You get really clear about like, oh my God, I don't need any of that shit, but the 3 things that I need are right here. And usually the things that we absolutely must have in place during those critical times are very limited. The list is very short. It's like, I really only need these things. And so there's a benefit. So there's, again, like the diamond and the pearl, there's the constriction, but then within that constriction, there's some kind of jewel, there's magic, there's message, there's clarification that's coming through. It's like, hey, we don't need all this other shit. We really only need these few things. So, was there anything else I wanted to say about that before I move into the oils? I do want to talk about Mars retrograde really quick. So it just started. It's going to be here until January. So this whole period from, all of November, all of December, we're in this energy where everything action is being, all retrograde cycles are about like disintegration to reintegration. It's all about all the the review, the release, all of the re's. So we're reviewing all of the stuff and going, hey, how do I feel about this? So it's a review period of how do I feel about the forward action of my life? How do I feel about the plan that I had in place? What's going on with that? Am I okay with it? And so it's a review period of all of that stuff. So I would say, don't expect anything to go as planned. Don't expect anything to go very quickly. It's a period of time where also when acute things happen, it's like we get really clear really fast and everything slows way down. I was in a car accident in college, and I had this experience of this where I was on the freeway, my tire went out, and the car spun. Fortunately, there was a median, and my car spun into the median, spun back, and almost went into oncoming traffic before the car stopped. And during that time, that whole spinning, like time slowed down, and it was like, a movie or a video or something in slow motion. And it's like every part of my awareness came right into that. It was so crazy. So it's that sense that we're in right now. A friend of mine who's also an intuitive said October, which it definitely started feeling like that. October to January was what she called a knockdown drag out. It's like, we're going to have to see all the shit that we haven't seen. And there's pain here in the fact that we have to see where we were complicit. Where did we agree to let the energy, our own energy, get used that way? Where did we agree? Were we unconscious in this area? Were, all the places, all the ways. So a couple suggestions. I'll talk about the oils and then we'll do a card. I was going to, if you don't have a chanting practice yet and you want to start one and you want to work on that with me, I am going to start just this morning. I was like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do. I was going to start, I posted on Instagram that I was starting a 40-day cycle of the heart chakra. Well, then I got really sick and I couldn't chant. I couldn't sing or do anything. So I abandoned that task. So what I'm going to do now, because we're in such root territory, root chakra, I'm going to start the root chakra chant. It's a Ganesh chant and it's $5, like it's me recorded. It's $5 on my website in the shop. If you want to buy that and you want to do it with me, it's me singing it 108 times. So if you don't have a set of mala beads or you don't even know what that is, you can do it with me. That way you don't have to have a timer. You can just hear it until I'm done. And then you can learn the chant and the cadence and everything about it. You can use the rollerball as well. Really, really suggest the root here right now with everything that we're going through. We're like, this is like topsoil, uprooting everything, seeing what's important. We're talking about foundational pieces here of our life. This is really helpful on the bottom of the feet, big toe, at night for sleeping really well, because we are going to need sleep with everything that's going on. It's time to ditch anything extra, and get really, really down on the details. So this is like eating well, sleeping well, getting enough exercise, hydrating, like all of those kind of things. This is like on the ground roots, take care of yourself. I will post in Instagram when I start. I probably won't do it today because it's so chaotic, but maybe. I will post there and then I will just do it every day as a way to keep myself accountable, but also to share that I'm doing it, and you can do it with me if that calls. The oil of the month is lavender. I have been using this like crazy in my house right now. Lavender is typically thought of as like the healing oil. Just to smell it, it gives your body a full like, oh, it's time to calm. It's great to diffuse at night for sleeping. But it's often thought of as just like, oh, it's the healing oil. It's great for cuts. Heligrism is more for, wound healing over time. But lavender is like if you get a cut or you have a wound or whatever, you want to put that on right away. And it will help it heal and clean it and everything. So it's healing and calming for the skin, for the body aromatically, for the emotions. It calms everything down. But what people don't often realize, and I just looked this up in one of my books and was reminded, I'm like, wow, I actually didn't realize what an incredible powerhouse this is. And that's when I knew that it needed to come in for the oil of the month. Lavender is also about emotionally and energetically helping us to speak and verbalize the things that have been buried, especially for people that are shy, that hold their voice back, and that was actually another, the throat chakra was another one that I was getting to potentially lead with, but I think I'm going to start with the root right now, because it is Ganesh, and Ganesh is the remover of obstacles, and we need so much of that, like remove the obstacles, right, to help us see where we're going and what's important. But anyways, lavender is about helping unearth those things that have been buried that we couldn't say, we didn't know how to say, like, especially if you're shy and you tend to hold yourself in, thoughts, beliefs, ideas, feelings, but especially like sharing with people who you are, even sharing with yourself who you are. And we can't really get our needs met if we don't know what they are. And if we're not listening to ourselves and we're not sharing with people, like, hey, this is really important to me, or this is something that's going on and I need support in this way, or I need this. This oil is really helpful for all of that. It's like unearthing the deep wounds, the deep trauma. And now's the time to do it because we're in this critical pressure. It's like naturally everything that's extra is going to want to go anyways, but this is just going to help push that through. And if you don't have a Young Living account already, you can access it. I mean, you can message me anytime if you have questions or, about any of this kind of stuff. But there are links in my bio for, shopping Young Living. That will take you to creating an account, and you can just order right there. If you purchase a minimum of 100 PV, which is just around $100, you just have to do that one time, and it gives you membership privileges, which is 24% off everything. It basically gives you wholesale on everything. So that's something to consider if you think you want to buy, more than that, or you want to like really dive into health and wellness and healing. And let me tell you, with what my daughter is going through, I was already on a health track. I already ate pretty well. I did a cleanse last month that woke me up to like, wow, maybe I wasn't eating quite as well as I thought I was, because I feel amazing after this cleanse. But it is opening my eyes even further to removing all the toxins out of your house. I mean, if you have fragrant candles, get them the F out of your home right now. Anything on any bottle that says the word fragrance, if it says rose fragrance, that means there is no rose in it. That means fragrance means it's synthetic. It is manufactured. It is not real. Any of those kind of fragrances, they are hormone disruptors. They disrupt your whole endocrine system. They are toxic and terrible, and there's tons of stuff like that in, okay, this card is really the one that wants to come. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So what the hell? So anyways, get them out of your home. I mean, if nothing else, if you want to do it overnight really quickly, there's something called the, I just discovered this recently. There's something called, is it the Home Collection? I can't remember. I'll try to post it, but it basically helps you with both the scented fragrances, the candles, replacing those, and cleaning products. If you only want to do cleaning products, Thieves Cleaner. Just dump all your cleaning products and just grab Thieves Cleaner. And the only other thing that you would need is the laundry soap. But those two products alone will get rid of all the junk out of your laundry and all the cleaning. So that, and then you could do a starter kit of just oils, or do that home collection or whatever for fragrances. But get that shit out of your home. And now that my daughter's going through what she's going through, she's realizing the importance of this too. I want to say, actually, as I say that, I want to include this piece too. Nobody wants to go through hard times. Nobody wants to be squeezed by Saturn and Mars and all these things and have to go through those. But you ask anybody who has been through stuff like that. When I went through a divorce 15 years ago, I mean, I'm telling you, there is nothing faster that gets you on your path. It helps you to see what is important and what is not, and to really, bring it in. And if you ask anyone, they would never say, like, everyone that's gone through a hard time would say, yeah, it totally sucked, but I'm glad I went through it because I learned all of this amazing stuff. And what I'm seeing in my daughter already is like, watch out, world, because there's a badass coming out of this. Because when you learn that, like, the world has been poisoning you, you're going to wake up real quick and say, oh, I'm not on board with that anymore. I am going to take my health and everything into my own hands, and, F the keeping up with the Joneses and the status quo, because most of it is making us sick. Okay, the card that we got is from the 4 colors section. Of course, there's only 4 of them in here, and we got the reddening card, which of course I was talking about. I think I talked about the snake shedding its skin. If I didn't, that is absolutely the energy that we're in. It's also the image on the cover of the book. So the snake shedding its skin, I mean, there's gold, there's pearl, right there in the image. Is that amazing or what? Okay. Life force, kundalini, blood. The reddening indicates a full expression of the work. Everything is alive. The heart pumps, the cells celebrate, the blood sings its way through the body. What was dormant has been awakened. What was once considered base is now noble. Aches and pains are integrated. Shadows are acknowledged and interwoven. When the reddening card appears, it signifies health, power, and a climaxing of the work, a coalescing of what has been learned. The laboratory is no longer separate from the alchemist or from the work, but the three are now one. What occurs in the body is reflected in the world and vice versa. Through the process of reddening, we move out of the head and into the physical body. More specifically, we reach the heart. It is where the alchemist finds the sacred ingredients of power and kindness. That is literally everything that I have said. This situation with my daughter and the health, it is the medical system that made her sick, and now we are having to deal with it. You know, and then we as the people get left to be the ones that have to clean up the mess. And they're making all the money and they're making all the profit. And so she's waking up at the young age of 17 of realizing all of this. And I've already been through my own, you know, shit show with the medical system and tried to protect her and shield her as much as I could. And even with everything that I know about it, she's still going through it. And, but again, it's like, you know, the badass version of us comes forward when we get put through things like this. And you know, just like it says, bringing you into the physical body, it puts you all the way into your feet where you're going to be like, nobody's telling me anything that I'm doing. I'm deciding what's right for me. Okay, to go deeper, read the poem, The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. That's not one I'm familiar with. To ponder the red of the heart. Take note of how many cards in your reading contain the color red. You may sense the physical vitality of the querent by the presence and absence of this life force color. That's interesting because I just got, for myself, the blood card in this same deck. Reconnect to physical practices that bring you vitality. It's likely you know which ones bring that. It's likely you know which ones bring that. Rosy glow to your cheeks and sparkle to your eye. It looked like there was a period there, but the text is so small. Let me just read it all again. Reconnect to physical practices that bring you vitality. It's likely you know which ones bring that rosy glow to your cheeks and sparkle to your eyes. I mean, I would say, you know, health and wellness and natural alternative. It's so funny that we call natural medicine alternative. Okay, well, it's actually the thing that is in place anyway. And I'll leave you with this. I don't know why this is coming through, but it feels important. A friend of mine is a homeopath, and I have been consulting with her at great length over this thing that my daughter's going through. And one thing that she has really taught me is in homeopathy, what they know is that when the body is trying to express something, it needs to be allowed permission to express it all the way through. The simplest of terms that you can think about this on medically is when the body gets a fever. And we are often told, oh, you got to take aspirin to reduce the fever. The fever is trying to kick out illness. Yes, there is a point at which the fever can get to a critical temperature, at a critical height, that it could be potentially dangerous. But no, you should not, and I'm not a medical professional, I'm not trying to give advice, but what she's telling me about homeopathy is when we take something, and the entire Western medical system is based on giving us medicine for a symptom, and when we do that, we suppress what the body is trying to express. And all that does is it buries it further into the body. So if you don't allow it to express, via the skin or the breath or sweat or whatever, then it might get buried deeper and go into your lungs and become asthma, go into your brain and become, anxiety, depression, mental illness, whatever it is. And it's just really interesting. And so as I'm learning more about that, I think it's really interesting with the energy that I'm seeing for November, because there's this way that when we get down into the bottom of kind of the container of our life, the container of energy that we're reviewing, there's a whole bunch of pus down there. There's a whole bunch of unrepressed or repressed, unexpressed and repressed energy that is now coming up. It's like a balloon being pushed under the water, and that can only happen for so long before it blows up and expresses, and is going to get worse before it gets better, you know, like I said. And that's what's happening with my daughter as well right now. So anyways, you know, not medical advice at all, but just personal advice, and, you know, take it as you want. But, you know, you are the one that's in charge of your life and your body, and you are the one that's in the driver's seat. And we have to be really careful about where and how we are giving our authority to other people that may not have all the answers. You know your body and your life better than anyone else does. So if somebody tells you something that doesn't resonate, that is a very good indication that it isn't for you, including my messages. Whatever doesn't resonate, just dump it right in the trash, because there's no, you know, that's ridiculous. We have to apply critical thinking and, you know, our energetic sense to everything that we do. So anyways, I love you. I don't even know if I'll get to writing a blog this month because of everything that's happening, but at least I get this video out and let you all know. Oh, one last thing I wanted to announce. It's completely in, you know, its own breakdown and everything. But the moon ceremonies, I offer new moon and full moon every month. They're pre-recorded. They're available for my shop, in my shop for a download. And since I started doing those, I created a subscription. So there's several people that have come on to do that. And right as that started happening, I heard, oh, there's like, this is a community of people that is building. And so I knew I wanted to create an online community aspect. So that's been created and built, and it's on my website now. But I'm hearing that there's going to be, you know, intuitive, like private messages like this that will be part of that group. I thought that it was going, I still don't know. I thought that it was going to be called the Wild Sisterhood Community, and that's what it is right now. That's what it says on my website currently. But as we're all going through this shift, I'm like, actually, I don't know if it's only women. It may be open to men as well. But if you're interested in joining that, the online platform is already available. And again, it may even change platforms. I'm not sure, but and if you're interested in getting those moon ceremonies regularly at a discount, you can join that, and then there'll be more things added as I go. But currently that is under the community section on my website, devilmagenta.com, and then go to classes and community. It's the very top listing, and you can join there, and then you'll be the first to like get updates on everything that I'm adding and, you know, whatever there. So if you're interested in that, that's there. And if you want to just buy it a la carte, you can continue to do that as well. All right. Love you. Namaste. Have a wonderful month. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be a rough one for most of us, but, you know, utilize your tools that you have, and stay connected with your people, and get on the ground, you know, do the journal writing, the meditation, the chanting, all the tools that we have in our toolbox. You're going to need them, and you're going to want to use them. And my calendar for clients is just getting busier and busier and busier, and not even one-offs. Like everyone that's coming right now is buying packages, and they're doing the work, they're diving in and really doing it. So that's available too if you need some additional support. All right. Love you. Namaste. Have a wonderful month. Blessings to you and whatever you have going on. We are in this together. We are stronger when we come together in community, which is another reason why I wanted to get the community aspect of the moon ceremony subscription together. So blessings, and namaste, and just you know, be anchored in the center of yourself, and know that you are loved, that you have love, that you have people, and we'll get through this together. All right. Namaste.